Last time on Trials of Mana.
Cone.
Yes.
Her cone will be made out of origami.
Oh, Lord.
We're service nowadays, but at least we're not back in the medieval ages where it's like, hey, serve us or we'll kill ya.
Yeah.
Episode 12, Domperi's Secret.
All right, you crazy cats out there, we're gonna go find ourselves some Koropokkur.
They're adorable. I enjoy it.
Koropokkur, folks.
You just like little people.
I do. I like things that are smaller than they should be.
It's
Or
the
bigger than they
small
should be.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, look at Milo. I mean, he's bigger than
Good
he should
point.
be, and I'm just like, ooh! The capybara.
Yeah. This lady has the weirdest voice. It's
Very posh and vibrato.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember her.
it doesn't quite match the character we're looking
Or
at.
the aesthetic
Yeah.
of just like an Amazon.
It once again makes me question that, like, I feel like this is one of the projects where they didn't have a prompt, they just had a script. And they were just like, this is a Valkyrie woman. And it's like, okay. Because, like, you get those projects where you either have just, like, character art or just
Yeah.
the script. And it's just like, you gotta work from that. Whereas you have other projects
That are
where
detailed of like what they
they'll
want.
give you, like, the video and all the things
Yeah.
and stuff. And it's like, this is the expressions that this character is going to convey. And you have things to work off of. Disney, for the longest time, is kind of like a blend of that, where you work off storyboards,
Yeah.
but the actual animation is based off the character's performance.
Right.
Like James Woods for Hades, they got all of his little nuances and his
Right.
faces and his contortions and all that stuff into the performance.
Oh, what was the Rango? They did that with Rango. They had like the actual characters act out the scenes,
Yeah, they did.
and then they animated the movements because Johnny Depp has such like
Yeah.
odd movements. But I think they wanted to
They
capture that
replicated
in
those.
Rango, so they had him like act out the scenes with people so that they could animate Rango as.
Well, that's how
Johnny Depp,
mocap
yeah.
is. Mocap is you wear a suit that tracks the movements,
Yeah.
and then you like paint the characters and stuff on top of the dots.
Okay.
They do mocap for, like they did it for Gollum in Lord of the Rings. They did it in King Kong. Andy Serkis is like the master of mocap.
Okay.
Like he's one of the founding fathers of that invention. So much so that like he has like his own like VFX company, I think it is.
Okay.
And he did mocap for, I forget the name of the studio. I think it's called like Ninja Theory. But they
See,
did
I've-
games like
I've
Heavenly
seen-
Sword
I've
and
seen
Slave.
that done. I thought it was just like CG because they did that with Voldemort. They put all the little dots on the guy's face
Yeah.
to change his facial features.
Yep.
Because Voldemort doesn't have a nose, but the actor that plays Voldemort has a very substantial nose,
Yes.
which I always thought was pretty funny.
But yeah, that's mocap. They did mocap for Smaug in Desolation of Smaug.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep.
Love him.
Welcome.
Get a load of this lady.
Looking for something in particular?
See, she
welcome
is
to
what
my
I would
shop.
picture that Valkyrie to sound like. Oh, hello.
Running
Welcome
a
to my
shop
shop.
isn't as fun as
She
I
gives.
thought.
She has those like droopy eyes, the way you look when you
Enjoy
take
your
like your.
doodad.
When I
you
take
took
my
that
PM.
medicine. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I look like when I'm on my PM medicine. So, like for my allergies, the ones that are drowsy, I guess I just have full stroke face.
Let's be off to Rabite Forest and
Like
find the
you were.
Koropokkur village.
I mean, you've taken them. Like
Oh yeah.
when it hits,
But-
you have no choice.
What happened was like I took it right before bed, so
Yeah.
I was just like, "Hey, you think tomorrow we could?"
And then nothing.
Da 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 da. Game over.
Whereas I accidentally took them and then went to work.
Yeah.
I fell asleep standing at a register. So,
And I'm just like, wow. Because like
Yeah.
you came home and I was just like, you're home.
and I was just like, no.
the Nintendo Direct is on. You're just in time. And you were like, nah. And
I
you
don't-
just like
I don't even think I
Hovered.
could
like the
vocalize
ghost of Christmas yet to come,
words.
off into the other room.
Oh my god, I was so tired.
You were just like, tell me, spirit, whose bed is this?
It is mine now.
It's
Hey,
yours,
I was
Ebenezer Schrott.
I was just thankful I ended up in the right house. Like,
Oh my god.
I was so tired.
That'd be hilarious. You just come home. How was your day? Well, I walked into the neighbor's house.
They let me nap for an hour, but then told me I had to GTFO.
Hey, you gotta get going.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, let's not replicate that because that was a prescription medicine, was it not?
No, that's
Okay.
over. My doctor told me to take it,
Okay.
but it is over the counter. So it's like,
Gotcha.
I think I've shared in a couple earlier videos that I've been having really bad vertigo.
Yeah.
So just like these terrible, terrible dizzy spells. And my doctor said before I go to the ears, nose, and throat doctor to have it looked at for a week or two to take sinus medication because I do have bad sinuses. So if taking the sinus medication does not stop the vertigo, they can cancel that out because that's the first thing an ENT is going to tell me to do is take sinus medication. So if I already do that before they tell me I have to do that, it just saves me an appointment.
Okay. But like it should be reserved for like nighttime, I guess.
I have nighttime and daytime,
Okay.
but the one that I bought after that specific visit to the doctor, I thought it was daytime and it was definitely nighttime.
Okay. So that's
Because
what happened.
because I knew I only had so many left, so I thought I would just pick up a new package.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just wondering like what happened.
Yeah. Well, it's also like because I was trying to find Sudafed, and I couldn't find any Sudafed, and it was behind the counter at the pharmacy. It is over the counter, but you have to. I guess people steal it because you can make drugs from it.
Yeah.
So you have to like go to the pharmacist and request a packet of Sudafed. And my anxiety was like, how about no? So I was just trying to see what else they had that was specifically for sinuses.
Right.
Because the stuff that I'm taking right now is like cold, flu, and sinus,
Okay.
but it's not specifically for just the sinuses.
You're doing that thing again where you want to explain something.
Yeah.
So you arch your back away
So
from
and
the microphone.
then I like move away from the mic. Yeah, sorry.
And you're just like, I'm talking to you. I'm like, yes, but we are part of the show, and we could also talk to the viewers as well.
Lean into
They could be
the.
like,
see.
Well, you see, the secret to this drug is to keep
Well, see, what happens is I also have the attention span of a small squirrel, and will
I can vouch for that.
will like start to talk to the mic, and then I move away from the mic to look around the room,
Yeah.
and then I lose what I was talking about, and then I come back to the mic.
I mean, I do the same thing. Like, that's the technique that I learned in, like, voiceover classes. Is like, on average, you want to be a Welker away. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, Frank Welker, the voice of Fred,
Yeah.
he thought of, like, just a W, a Welker away from the
Yeah.
microphone, and, like, that's, like, the average position you want to be. Granted, this is a Yeti mic that we just do for shits and giggles. The one that we use for, like, other videos, my actual voiceover recordings
Yeah.
and auditions.
Is like in a sound
That's an
booth and-
ATG
yeah.
XLR microphone. XLR microphones are just more powerful. They
Yeah.
go off phantom power, and like that's more what casting directors are looking for. This is just shits and giggles. It's relatively inexpensive. If you knock it, it's not that big a deal. And like you bump the microphone a lot, so
I do. Well, it's because I'm always like spinning around in my chair, and the arms of my chair like hit the stand.
yeah, it's like
and,
boom.
yeah. Or I like
But
shuffle and my leg hits it.
what I've learned is like if you want to get like very intimate or personal, like you're doing a whisper,
Yeah, you just-
you want to get
you
real
just get
close to the
closer.
microphone and be like, yes, this is. Turn to your books in chapter 1 and we shall begin the story of Winnie the Pooh. Whereas if you want to scream and show them your might, back away from the microphone.
Well, yeah.
That way you're not going to like blow it out. So like that's usually what
But see, though,
happens
you're
when I go
also
off
trained,
microphone.
But you're also trained as a voice actor.
This is not the first time we've had this discussion.
I am not trained.
This is the first time we've had it on the
as
show.
a voice actor.
Right.
Clear threats.
But I'm just saying, like, don't. Hey, I have this very funny story to tell you.
I am a trained sculptor.
These hands were not made for showbiz.
They really weren't. I'm not sure of them.
You've gotten better, but like the first time I ever scolded you, probably one of the only times, like legit scolded you was when I saw the scratches and pickings on your fingers, and I said, don't do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I still do it. I don't like to do it. I don't realize I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have gotten better. It's not all of my fingers anymore. It's
Right,
just my
yeah.
thumbs.
So, like, we're getting there.
Baby steps. Progress.
All right, so listen. Charlotte, protection is paramount. I don't care about you fighting. I just need you to heal and protect our allies. Can you do that?
Like, can they fit my robe? I'll put them in my robe.
All right. So now let's take on
Mama
these silk
kangaroo.
tails.
We learned the other day that kangaroos, their babies will stay in their pouch for up to 8 months.
Yeah, that was crazy.
after they're
Like we
born?
had the one with like its legs were hanging out of mama's
like
pouch.
it didn't fit in the pouch anymore, and its like face was next to all its legs, just like
I thought because it's just like a pouch of flesh, it can only take so much weight.
yeah.
And then you like burst through poor mama's pouch.
Well, I just didn't know because like I know that they're born and then they are put in the pouch because it's protection.
Yes.
They're safe there. But I didn't know that they stayed in the pouch. I thought that they would like come out of the pouch and then go
Yeah.
back in. No. They stay in the pouch.
Yeah, they live in the pouch until they become a certain age, then they boop,
Yeah.
time for another one.
And they were saying like mother kangaroos can have up to 3 babies.
Yep.
So like one that just left the pouch, one in the pouch, and then pregnant with another one. And
Yep.
I'm just like, oh my god, poor mamas.
Way to go, mom.
She's just tired, smoking a cigarette. Like I'm tired of this shit. Like, but yeah, I didn't know baby kangaroos stayed that long in the pouch. But I picture Charlotte protecting people in her like little robes, like a kangaroo. Get in the pouch,
Get in the pouch, my friends.
my friends.
All right, so what's interesting is that we're back in Rabbite Forest, but the enemies are a little scaled in difficulty. We have a few silk tails, which are the pink rabbites, that are more powerful than regular rabbites, and assassinants, or assassin ants, to be more specific.
See, I didn't pay attention to the differences in any of the rabbits. I was just like, these poor creatures are just living their life.
Oh, it's a different color. I'll kill it too.
Yeah.
No, they're different breeds. Which is why if Trials of Mana had a 72 cutest critters,
I
would
know,
have
there'd
rabbites,
be
then
18
silk tails,
episodes
then-
of freaking rabbits. And then they would give one to like the birds. This one flies. Let's just put them all together.
Yep. The flying enemies, we'll put them all together. We could do that as just like a joke. We could do like 72.
72 cutest enemies
Enemies in
faced in
Trials of
video
Mana.
games.
Oh, we could.
Just do like 18 rabbits.
Because like...
Just make them all Trials of Mana, and then one that has all of the cute Nintendo characters.
Yeah. Yoshi, Kirby, and Pikachu all in one entry. That won't piss no one off. Let me tell you. But that's basically what it felt like.
That really is though, because they were like, oh, sugar glider, squirrel, chipmunk, like those are 3 different animals.
Yes.
And they put them all in like one little like blurb.
Yeah.
But they gave like 18 different blurbs to the penguins.
Well, not
And
only
each
that,
individual
but, like,
penguins.
The penguins had like 8-minute segments. Those chipmunks and
I
shit
know,
had
they were, like,
all
2 minutes.
shared a 3-minute segment.
It was so upsetting. And I was like, sugar gliders are one of the cutest animals I've ever seen in my life. And they just lumped them
The
all
Arctic
together.
fox like made it
Oh
to
my
like
God,
3rd
that's
place
so
and then
cute.
shot down.
I know, we saw an orangutan
In
and
the
it was
same
like, well,
episode.
goodbye. Like, so frustrating.
So like now every time we see a monkey, I'm like, well, this one's the winner of this episode.
I know, some of them I just don't get it. Like, a spider monkey is definitely cuter than an orangutan.
Like we've had one reptile in the entire show so far.
I know, and it didn't even get on the list.
No.
Which I was upset because it was really cute.
I thought it was because it could like boop his head.
I
It could,
know,
twist
he-
its head
he,
up
like,
and be like, boop. All right, so here we go. This is our destination. We have the Minor Mallet. That's a Koropokkur. It's like a little Smurf.
Yes.
These are little
So,
guys.
oh my god!
Reminds me of Pikmin. I get the feeling you'd like to watch Pikmin, not play Pikmin.
Probably.
And a different reason of why I feel like you'd like to watch Bayonetta rather than play Bayonetta. Whereas, I think you'd love the aesthetic of Pikmin, but like it's heavily about strategize.
Yeah,
It's like you
I'm
raise
not very
these
good at
creatures
strategizing.
to survive, and you have a time limit.
Yeah.
And like their numbers count, and you need specific numbers in certain days.
See, one thing that I would
But
absolutely
it's
love
very
to do.
much in touch with nature. Miyamoto, and I'll let you finish in a minute. Miyamoto was inspired to create Pikmin
By his
through gardening.
backyard, yeah.
Yeah, gardening.
I remember that, and that he was inspired to do, like, he is Link.
Yep. Because exploring the mountains and the forests nearby, that was his idea for the original Zelda.
Yeah. Whereas,
But-
like, one thing that I would really love to do that I actually plan on doing for the games that we're making and your creation is to write books based off of the game.
Oh yeah, you have mentioned
So where
that.
it's like, because a lot of the games that, especially that you're designing, they have a story and they have characters, and these characters have personality.
Yeah.
But for someone that might not like to play the game, like, I still feel like they would enjoy that story.
Okay.
Because I have the same idea with, like, anime. For people that don't necessarily like to watch anime.
Gotcha.
Whether it's the character design, the, like, overly expressiveness of how anime is, but the story is really good.
Okay.
So, and people actually do those. They're called light novels.
Okay. Now,
But
do you have to
there's-
get the rights?
Yeah, there's-
okay.
there's a
I'm
lot of,
pretty sure
like-
that's how it would work.
There's a lot of red tape.
Okay. Whereas with my games, there's
I
no red
can-
tape.
yeah.
Go for it.
I can just be like, hey, what would they do here?
Just don't miss the purpose of my characters, or I'll be
Yeah.
like, they won't do that.
So, and it's like, because that's one thing that I just really like is
You have to
embellish the
accurately
story.
do a depiction of Trixie. You can't screw that one up. It's the most important character. It's the heart of the goddamn story.
Stinky humans.
She's a sassy dog, though. Like,
Voiced by two characters. Two actors did the arfs and woofs for that dog in the game.
that's funny.
How about you look for the fellow
They're probably both
yourself?
men too,
Yes.
voicing a female dog.
Ask villagers about
Yeah,
Domperi.
how about that?
You can't see my facial expression, but I was being facetious.
All right, so we have to find Domperi, and we're gonna explore the Koropokkur Woods. It's basically like a big old playground.
Yeah.
It's like one big circle. You go through, and we try to find a little fella.
See, like,
But while we're
this
here-
is like neighborhood aesthetic goals.
Oh, you want like giant mushrooms for your furniture and stuff like that?
Just like little pine cones.
Pine cones and shit. Yeah, why not?
Adorable.
It reminds me of that house you showed me that looked like a hobbit hole.
Oh my gosh, it was so cute.
What was it, Dutch?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Because like it very much had like a fantasy building aesthetic.
I follow a lot
I'm
of
like,
like pages
alright.
on social media of like interesting architecture, old houses, unique houses, things like that. And I always come across ones that just like look like little witch cabins or
Aw.
little hobbit holes.
Yeah. Well, you know that you could actually rent a hobbit home in New Zealand. Because like they built
Yeah.
the Shire.
town, yeah.
and they're just like, well, we're not gonna tear this down. So they like renovate it, and people are
I mean,
able to like
that's
stay there,
that's
kind of like
a really
an inn.
good idea though.
I wouldn't be able to fit in one of those. Like
I know, you'd-
they're only, I think, like 5 feet
You'd have
tall.
to just like crawl. I wouldn't fit in one of those. I'm taller than that.
Because like I remember like Ian McKellen is just like hunched over in
I
all the
know.
scenes he's doing, and it's just like, well,
That's funny.
like Elijah Wood, he's
He's
shorter
like-
than
he's
Ian
5'5".
McKellen, but he's
Elijah
not
Wood is like 5'5".
like a tiny guy.
Yeah.
Whereas Ian McKellen, I think, is like 6'3",
Yeah.
something like that.
He is not a small guy.
No, he's not a small guy. And Sir Christopher Lee, he was a big boy as well. Tall, I mean.
Yeah, I'm considered tall for a girl,
Okay.
despite what all of your friends say. All of your giant friends.
My Jaimundo posse.
Literally, not one person in your group is under 6 feet tall. I swear. Maybe Chuck.
5'11".
Yeah, maybe Chuck.
Yeah. But, no, yeah, you're
They're all
right.
giants.
We're all giant. We would stick out like a sore thumb in the Koropokkur Woods, let's just say that. Alright, so right now I'm trying to look for some treasure chests. because this is actually an area that you don't revisit too often. Whereas most of the other towns, we'll get back to it. If I missed a chest, big deal, we'll be back. I think I'm supposed to go up here. It's tiny as shit.
Kevin's like, oh my god, don't fall, don't fall, don't
It
fall.
feels
Could you imagine
awkward.
Wesker walking up those steps?
He'd fall.
Funk.
I hate it here.
That would, just the look on his face the first time he fell down the steps here. He was just like, I hate it here.
He looked at me and was like, Dad, she's not the one. I'm like, excuse me? She's
And then
not the one.
And then I gave him a face rub and he was like, never mind. It's fine.
She's like, okay, I see a future with this one. And then he proceeded to sleep on the way home, just be like, wake me when we get home.
No.
Home.
Puppers.
Well, you told me that, like, when you took him to the house,
He was a
not
mess. Yeah, he was
happy.
not happy. We tried to bring him here to where we live now. I took him from his old house to where he would be living, where he's at now.
Yeah.
Which meant I took him away from you in a car that he wasn't familiar with to a home he wasn't familiar with. And he was just like, no. He stood by the door and he just cried.
Oh, jeez. Because, like, he'll still do that when you
He
leave.
didn't poop for like the first 3 days he was here.
I could have left that out, but yeah, that's exactly what happened.
He was so sad.
He was just like, Wesker, take a dump. I'm down in the dumps. I can't take a dump.
Well, you know how you can only poop at home? Like,
Nope, didn't have that problem. First bite of your cooking, I'm like, fire in the hole!
I think it's just this house. Everyone that comes to visit us is like, oh, so where's your bathroom?
I know Phil's just like that in general. The
Yeah.
first thing he has to do when he goes
Is
in
go to
someone's
the
house is be
bathroom.
like, I have to use a restroom.
Yeah.
He did that when Jeff first moved into the new place, when the Shumax, when
Yeah.
Jim, he was always like, I have to use the facilities.
My brother doesn't even say hello. He's like, I'll be in the bathroom. Like,
That's what Phil
Alright.
does.
I asked if you knew where he was.
yeah.
All
Wesky's
right.
happy now.
So
But yeah, he
Tee-hee,
was-
this guy was Domperi the whole
Around
time.
village.
He was just
I
fooling
did
with
not
us.
know where I
And
would
he's like,
be
well,
anyone
if
knows.
you were a Koropokkur, you'd have known that.
Annoying.
Because there are no
Kevin's
other
like,
Koropokkur.
how'd you know?
Wow.
Because none of you have big old beards. Even our women have beards.
What?
It's
Do
like
you
that with the
doubt me,
dwarves.
youngin'?
I did hear about
Even
that,
the
yeah.
women have beards.
Even the women have beards in Tolkien's world.
Well, it's like that in The Witcher, too. The female dwarves have beards.
Took over the Koropokkur
Okay.
village and
I don't know much of the dwarves in The Witcher.
Yeah.
You don't see them that much.
No, they're in the show. They're not.
Because, like, there's the humans and the
They're
elves
in
are the
book.
bad guys.
Yeah, they're in the book.
Okay.
They're dwarves.
My, that is
Whereas, like, in The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien's work, it's humans, the elves,
Yeah.
the dwarves, and the bad guys are the orcs and the
Yeah.
Uruk-hai, and those of Morgoth.
Whereas in The Witcher, the elves are only one of a few types of bad.
wind
people.
statue blocks
Okay.
the way.
But the elves have like their own tragic backstory as to why they're the bad guys.
Okay.
That you're like, oh well, shit.
Do the books mention the Wild Hunt?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if the show's gonna cover the Wild Hunt or not.
See, I'm not entirely sure because I've only read 3 of the books
Okay.
so far, and it's like I started with I think Blood of Elves,
Okay.
and that one picks up right where the show left off.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Listen well
So,
to what I have to
it's
say.
So
like
then that means
the
season
series
2
training.
is going to be more aligned with the book than
Yeah.
of Blood of Elves.
From one of the
Hopefully.
mountains
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
One can only hope.
But it's like there's no correct first book to start on with The Witcher.
You've told me
Yeah,
this,
you
yes.
can start in any of those books, and it's like,
So it's like a Zelda series.
Yeah,
It's like you
where
can
it's
start
okay.
with either one. It's not like Harry Potter where it's just like you started with Order of the Phoenix. What the hell is wrong with
yeah. So it's like whenever I picked up, because I picked up a set of 3, and in all of my research, it was like, yeah, we recommend starting with Blood of Elves. So that's where I started.
you? Or like your friend that's just like, hey, I'll have her watch Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm like, huh?
Yeah. Like, well, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening, and I played all the games beforehand. She's like, now what the fuck are you pulling out of your ass?
I don't know.
Oy. But anyways, we don't have to rant about Kingdom Hearts. Its day will come. Right now, we'll just talk positive about Trials of Mana, a good Square Enix game.
See, but then anytime I go on a rant about like Sailor Moon, you're like, I don't know, maybe you will like Kingdom Hearts. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I will like Kingdom Hearts.
That's like a butt. I feel like you'll like the first Kingdom Hearts, because I like the first Kingdom Hearts. And like you'll respect the other ones, and then
I'll
I feel
just get
like
to a point where I'm like, the fuck are you doing now?
the point where the series lost me, I think even you'll be okay with. The point where the series lost Phil, I think that's where it's gonna lose you too.
Okay.
And then we'll go into Kingdom Hearts 3 where it's just like, fuck it.
See, the issue that I have initially and immediately with Kingdom Hearts is it's not just 1, 2, 3,
No.
4.
Nope.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is like, what, like the 7th or 8th installment of the game itself?
Yep.
I don't like that.
Not including the
I
fucking
need my
cell phone
numbers
games.
to go in order.
Cell phone games. That's when I was just like, God. And then they did like a rhythm game on the Switch, and I said, boy, wouldn't it be funny if part of the main story is in it? And it is!
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Ugh. So like every goddamn thing from like the novelization to like the cell phone game to the side stories all tie into the main narrative, and it all serves a point. Nothing's disjointed.
Yeah.
Nothing just like serves its purpose and okay, that happened.
Yeah.
Everything is serving like a piece of a point to like whatever
Whereas
grand
if
finale.
you watch the next one
they
but
keep
didn't read the
trying
book,
to
you don't understand what's happening because
do.
you didn't read the book.
Exactly. And I'm just like, for fuck's sake, this is about a dude with a key with Donald Duck and Goofy destroying darkness. That's it!
Yeah.
Just go from Robin Hood to Aladdin to Alice in Wonderland and just keep going on the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Fuck that other shit. But again, that's me. There's people that eat that shit up, and hey, more
See,
power
I like
to you.
it to a point. Like, I can enjoy it to a point, because that's how Sailor Moon works. It does that to a point, and then it stops, to the
Okay.
best of my knowledge. But it's like, because that's a big thing, people will see, like, Chibi-Usa, and be like, who's Chibi-Usa? What's her point in the story? And I'm like, oh, that's Usagi's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, but Usagi's only 14. I'm like, that's her daughter from the future.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, like, who's Usagi in the future? I'm like, oh, her name is Princess Serenity. And they're like, wait, so she's not Usagi in the future? I'm like, well, this is like 1,000 years later, so no. So, it gets a little confusing.
It does get a little confusing, and like, I've had my share of confusing stories, Xenoblade Chronicles Says Hello, that I'm just like, I'm on board, I got it. Final Fantasy X is another one. But, the way that Kingdom Hearts does it, just, it's like, remember that scene back from Kingdom Hearts 2? Well,
Yeah.
that all served a purpose. Hiding it, no, it fucking didn't. Kingdom Hearts 2 was
Well,
made in
and that's
2000
like-
goddamn 6. It had no point. This was not some grand
Yeah.
Kevin Feige plan.
Well, and that's one thing, again, that I like about Sailor Moon,
For
is
Kingdom
there
Hearts
are
Union
movies,
Cross.
there are movies and such for Sailor Moon,
Yeah.
but they're all outside of the series.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to, like, watch Arc 1 and then see the movie and then watch Arc 2 and see, like, Sailor Moon.
Exactly.
Yes, the movie. Like, you don't have to do that. As long as you know how the Sailor Scouts ended up the Sailor Scouts, you can watch any of the movies and know what's going on.
But like, honest to God, after Kingdom Hearts 2, I feel like it would have did better as an anthology series. And that's always how I
Yeah.
feel. That's how I feel with Stranger Things. That's how I feel with, Oh, I lost it. Shit. Stranger Things, we were just talking about it the other day. Oh well. But yeah, Stranger Things
Yeah.
is another one that I wanted to be like more of an anthology series, because that way there's some actual like risks with these characters.
Not only risks, but it's just fresh.
Yeah.
Like, how many times are they going to go to the Upside Down before it's just like, okay, I'm over it. I'm over the Mind Flare. I'm over
Yeah, how
like-
many times can you see a goddamn Demogorgon?
Yeah, before you're just like, oh, well, there it is.
Like, what was
Like, there's
neat-
a lot that you can do.
It's the difference between the first Alien and, like, the newer Aliens. We know what a xenomorph is.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about the original Ridley Scott's Alien was you didn't know what the fuck it was until it revealed itself.
Yeah.
Once a monster reveals itself and you kill it, that's it!
Yeah, it's not quite as fun anymore.
you gotta up the ante with a new monster. Which they did in Aliens with the Queen. So, like, it's technically a new monster, so it kind of works.
Yeah. Or even, like, wow, I just had a terrible idea.
Do you want to share it after? Because we're nearing the end of the episode.
Yeah, maybe get your opinion, and then if it's something that we can share on the channel, then we'll write it down and we'll just share in the next one.
Read it off. So the controversial thing I was...
So, but we'll have to write it down or else I'll forget.
Okay. Yeah, we'll make a mental note of it.
Well,
And
more like a sticky note.
okay, do we want to save it for the next episode of Trials of Mana then?
Yeah.
That way people know instead of
Yeah.
just being like, oh, remember that thing
Yeah,
in Trials
so-
of Mana? We're going to talk about it in Alice Part 3.
Yeah.
People be
Yeah, we
like,
don't want to do
"The
that.
fuck?"
Because there might be someone that, like, I hate Hat in Time.
Yeah.
Stupid game. Like,
Yeah.
so, which,
That's why we did the schedule we
F
did. Because
you,
someone might
'cause
be
it's a
like,
good
I
game.
don't want to watch Hat in Time. I'll
Yeah.
just watch
Castlevania.
Castlevania. Exactly.
To get in our
All right, folks. So we'll see you guys in the next part.
Toodles!
This one down. Too bad. So weak. Could have won alone.